you all gonna do now that you have no Section 8, no food stamps, no EBT, no nothing? What are you gonna do? I guess you're gonna have to get up off your ass and pull yourself up out of bootstraps and work. You know, work. Yeah, get a job. I think it's absolutely hilarious that some of the lifetime long people that, you know, have lived off the Section 8 food stamps and all of this free governmental assistance and have taken no action to try to better their lives, but live off of the government. I think it's absolutely hilarious that you're getting a real life lesson in adulthood. I do. I don't feel bad for you because there's some of us Americans who pay taxes and we don't ever receive any of those benefits, and some of us have to work 1, 2, 3 real jobs to provide for our families. So guess what? It's your turn to either pay back or become an adult. What kind of jobs are you going to get? I wonder, what kind of job are you going to get? Do you have any life skills? Yeah, karma, you can't continue to use and abuse your fellow Americans' tax dollars and everything from the government. Now you got to be a big adult and get a job. Or use some birth control and stop having some kids too. That would be a good thought.
I just got a letter from DHS. They have cut off my food stamps, cash assistance, disability for me, all 6 of my kids, and my Section 8. What do they expect me to do? I can't go out and get a job. I have been getting welfare since I was 19 years old. Over 10 years I have been on welfare. Okay, this is not a temporary solution. It is a permanent solution. So my 2 older kids that don't live with me, I have had on my case. Their dad went behind my back and put them on his food stamp case so he could get food stamps for them since they're in his home. He has a job. I need the food stamps, not him. So now they have cut me off, and now they are forcing me to pay back over $48,000 for the last 12 months. And they are taking my taxes. So, my $40,000 tax return, I will be receiving $1. And then I'll still owe $8,000 on top of that. Or I risk jail time. Where do they think I'm going to come up with that? How am I supposed to live now?
Apparently, using my child support on myself is wrong. So what am I supposed to use my child support on? As long as my 7 kids are taken care of, it doesn't matter what I use my child support for. I don't know why people care that I go do my nails, that I go do my hair, that I go to the spa, that I go on vacations with my child support money. It doesn't matter. My kids are taken care of. I understand if my kids didn't have anything they need, didn't have anything they want, then it's understandable. But they have everything. They're not missing anything. So who cares if I splurge on myself? Me going to the spa, going on vacation, it helps me with my mental health. It helps me be stress-free. And that's when I could be the best parent that I could be to my children. I get $3,200 between my 7 children in child support. I separate at least $500 and use that for them. The rest is for me. In order for me to be the best version of myself for my children, I have to put myself first. So once again, please tell me what I'm doing wrong. Because spending child support on myself, there's nothing wrong with that.
Bitch, there is something wrong with spending child support money on yourself. Because it's actually called child support. It's for children, not for grown-ass women. So, like to say, call on your Allah, Yahweh, Yasharahla, Kadash, the bonus to the apostles of Elsbeth Millstone, peace citations to the hopeful elect, Shalom. And actually, I may title this lesson, Esau is getting ready to strip all the benefits from you women. And just like the woman in the first video of the, like the first clip that brother from Arizona Indonesia brought out, you know, she seemed like she could be another kingdom Israelite, you know. Seemed like she got a little, you know, flavor and, a little sauce into what she was saying. She appeared to be somewhat of another kingdom Israelite, which I wouldn't be surprised if I'm correct on that. But for the most part, she said that, these women gonna start, working at this point. And the funny thing is, she was indicating that the first lady in that video, she was saying about how, it's time that a lot of you women start being adults. And yeah, you want to be like men. You want to basically be treated like the adults that you are. Now it's time that your ass take accountability and actually start, working. And it's time to own up to your equality, without the government support. Because you trusting in a failed system, you trusting in a system that thrives on debt. And you've been doing it for so goddamn long. Ever since the woman's liberation and all that shit. You women have been feeling like you could get the government support to doing, your stupidity. And of course, the child support money is not going towards the custody of the kids, it's going towards your custody. And there's times where some women have even been so abusive to their children where they'll leave their children starving and do their hair or their nails, taking care of their personal care before they even care for their children. And a lot of times they get away with that shit and got the nerve to even still blame the father on why the father is a piece of shit and, acting like the father's not giving enough. And the kids will believe that because they don't know any better. And to the second bitch in that video, which I would say, of course, like the one in the second part of the video and the third part of the video are bitches for the most part, because the first woman in the video seemed like she was more sincere because she was calling out the bullshit of these women that happen to abuse the government system for trying to get more benefits and things of that nature. And for the most part, what they do is that they put of course their children, which is actually the man's children, the man that had kids for them and things of that nature, which is their first husband or so, which I don't even would think that that's really their first husband any damn way, knowing how adulterous these women are in America for the most part. But just saying that let's say the man that impregnated these women first, or whatever the case is, and had kids with them, or just multiple men that had kids with them and things of that nature, they end up having to pay these women a certain sum of money when these women put them on child support. So now that of course works in their favor, and then that money that they're paying, that 17% that's coming out their paycheck or whatever, the government is so quick to even force you to pay, and they're not even letting you know what time that you should stop paying. So they're quick to tell you to pay, but they're very slow on telling you when you should stop paying. And it's really so messed up that they do that. Now the bitch in the second video talking about how the second let's say, like, she mentioned about how her older kids that used to be on her case, now that they're not on her case anymore because they're under the father's food stamp case, which he went to go claim in their name or so. Now she owes a certain amount of money back, and she mentioned about how pretty much she owes about I believe like 48k or so back in the food stamps, including the whatever government benefits she was receiving, and she hasn't been working for over 10 years, and I believe they wanted the money back in about like 12 months or so. Whatever the case is, she can't even file for her taxes and things of that nature, and plus she don't even work, so She's mentioning that she's not even used to that because she's been on food stamp. She's been on welfare, ever since she was 19 years old. So the funny thing is, it's like Esau makes you women so comfortable. Now he hits you with the uppercut like out of nowhere. You see, that's the funny thing, that how Esau works. Same thing he does with the migrants. Look, he had Biden to bring them in, and now he's using Trump to take them out. You see, that's how Esau is, man. This is the man that speaks with a double tongue. And you woman, you fell for the okie doke. You over here thinking that Esau had your best interest, that Esau, is gonna do things to make you happy, is gonna do things to please you, and you're just a damn fool. You're just a dumb fool. Because at the end of the day, what Esau is doing is that he's just setting you against your men, and now the fact that he's actually pretty much putting you through the affliction. What you're gonna end up doing after Esau is pretty much, of course, putting you through it now that he's divorcing you, you're gonna eventually want to run back to your man, and you know what your man gonna do, especially when that time comes when there's no more 911. He gonna clock you upside your fucking head, and then you're gonna end up with a big ass lump on your head like in Tom and Jerry after they get clocked in the head or so, with a weapon. They get that big ass lump on their head. That's pretty much what these men finna do to you. And you ain't gonna be able to call 911 or seek any extra support, because in that time it's gonna be every man for themselves. And you women have been thinking to yourself that you're better than men, that you're equal. So now is the perfect time to prove that, when Esau has to take away all those benefits. And to the last bitch in that video, which of course, started to, talk my shit at the beginning, responding to what the last bitch said. The last bitch talking about how she's spending $500 on 7 kids. Like, how wicked can you fucking be to even just make, let's say you're getting $3,200, each a month for the child support, and then now you have it to where you only spend $500 on 7 kids, and yet all that money goes to you. So you best believe this bitch is out there clubbing and partying and traveling with that type of money that she's using on herself, and not only just taking care of her hair, going to getting her makeup done, and getting her nails done and all that shit. Because trust me, a lot of that money is definitely going to be factored in on, well, first it's going to be dependent on, it seems as though she's another kingdom woman, and usually a lot of another kingdom women have their hair. For the most part, it seemed like, if anything, she mostly will spend that money on maybe just hair care products or so, because a lot of times, like, of course, if it was usually the black woman, they'll definitely spend it on wig and weave extensions and installations and all that shit. But I could see from her case, she probably most likely spend that money on her regular female expenses and things of that nature, and then going as far as mostly traveling, clubbing and partying and shit like that, and spending it on all type of nice luxurious apparel, and of course for the vehicle that she's driving. And mind you, they're gonna spend it on them first before they get to their child, and then whatever is left of it, they will just spend the rest of it on their child. And you see, one thing I wish what Esau would have done was that he would have had it to where they make it easy to detect and track where the money is actually being spent on, because of course this is called child support money. And for women that don't want to consider themselves as overgrown kids, which they are through the spirit, you are fucking basically under men, whether you like it or not. And a man is supposed to be above you. And now, of course, with this whole child support system and this whole feminism shit, you know, you actually, of course, through Esau's fucked up legislation, you know, he gives you an advancement and a step above, you know, men in this society. But the funny thing is, he made you so comfortable and believing that you was above men. Now he's doing these things to pretty much take away the position that he's giving you. And mind you, how the bitch said that she's spending all that money for herself, you know, first, because her mental health comes first and all this nonsense, how she thinks she come first when realistically your man is supposed to come first, you know. And as much as we get on the black woman and pretty much go as far as you know, rebuking, like, you know, the nation of the, you know, so-called, like, you know, black woman, which is like Judah, Benjamin, Levi, you know, the Southern Kingdom for the most part, we also get on, you know, you Northern Kingdom women too. You know, you fucking spick woman, you Latina, Hispanic, and even you, you know, wetback Native American woman as well, because y'all are also wicked as fuck too. You know, you ain't nothing better. You know, you ain't nothing exonerated, because for the most part, this is what you do. You use and abuse the system, and you use it against, you know, your man, and whatever multiple men, baby daddies that pretty much pump the kid in you. And this is the saying that it goes, like, you know, never settle for less, always settle for more. So that's the reason why they will get with more men and want to have more kids. But now the funny thing is, all that is going to work against your favor, because now it seems as though, from what that bitch was saying in the second video, you know, you're gonna have to pay that money back now from the benefits that you were receiving. And now your husband, because he has a job and he works, and two of those kids live with him or whatever, he claimed those benefits for those kids. Now they coming at you now wanting to expect the money that they gave you. Now they expecting that shit back. And as that woman in the first video, which I believe she was, you know, being sincere, and she could hopefully even be, you know, the elect for, you know, probably like the 1/3, I'm saying, for the most part, because I feel as though she could definitely be an Israelite. You know, she was saying about how it's time that you, women that have been abusing the system and all that shit, it's time that your asses work. And it's true. So yeah, so I'm gonna bring out Isaiah 32, and I'm gonna start at verse 5. It says, "The vile person shall be no more called liberal, nor the churl said to be bountiful, for the vile person will speak villainy, and his heart will work iniquity to practice hypocrisy, and to utter error against the Lord, to make the empty soul of the hungry, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail." Right. And you see, when it's coming to you dumbass woman, you don't understand that Esau is a man of, you know, lies. He's considered as the father of lies. He's a hypocrite. So you're going to realize that, you know, now at this point, and in the times to come, because he's going to really show his horns. You women have served their purpose in terms of like going against your men and all this shit, you know, riding the cock carousel and basically, you know, hopping along the ride to, you know, pretty much do your men dirty and throw them under the bus for your personal benefits and pretty much your personal gain. And now at this point, Esau is ready to, you know, kick you off that high horse ride, and he's finna throw your ass under the bus. And now you're gonna be in a worse situation than your man, because all the men that you did dirty, just hope you know you're gonna have a lot of visitors in that time, you know, ready to lay hands on you and do you dirty. Because you best believe a lot of men committed suicide behind this shit, you know, and some of them are even arrested and, you know, put in jail behind this unjust system that happened to, you know, work against their favor. And then you have a lot of men that lost their homes, lost their jobs, became homeless, because of this unjust system with the whole child support shit. So you women have a lot to pay for. And I want to bring out this part of the verse 6 where it talks about how, and he will cause the drink of the thirsty to fail. You know, you women have been pretty much drinking up that feminism juice for so damn long, and now, you know, it's gonna work against your favor, and now this time you're gonna be thirsty. And you know, like in you know, the second verse of Isaiah 32, that how, you know, a man is gonna be, you know, as the rivers of water in a dry place. So you're gonna finally thirst for that man of the Lord, you know, in the times to come. One thing about Esau's foundations, you know, his systems that help support this society, you know, this feminist-based society, it's a flawed system. You know, it's a system that thrives on debt, and it thrives on chaos as well. And eventually, part of the chaos is ultimately going to be when Esau pretty much now, instead of supporting your woman, here's the kick to the chaos. Now he's going to basically throw you woman on the bus. You know, because chaos is not always going to be the way you expect it to be. Just hope you know that. Things may go smooth, things might be, you know, fulfilling when you pretty much are not affected by the chaos. But eventually now, it's going to flip on you, right? And the table's going to turn. And that's when the chaos is not going to work in your dumb woman's favor. So you best believe, like, Esau, he's the Lord of chaos, and you stupid ass woman amongst our nation, you know, of course Eve, especially the so-called black woman, you're the agent of chaos, you know. And of course the black woman, just the woman of our nation in general, but mainly the black woman, is the top pioneer for the agent of chaos. And of course with chaos, Esau's gonna of course force his order. You know, he has an order of chaos thing going on, but of course, you know, at some point when Esau tries to enforce his order, you're gonna have it to where the Lord gonna intervene and raise his men to enforce, you know, the order of the Heavenly Father, you know. And if you women want to seek that hedge and protection at that time, you know, you're gonna have to follow after the ways of the Heavenly Fathers, you know, which is Yahweh Hashem Yeshua's ways. You would have to follow and serve that man of the Lord that takes you in, if the Lord gives you that, you know, that man, and ultimately, you know, if that man accepts you. And it says in Isaiah the 32nd chapter, verse let's go with verse 7 for now. It says, the instruments also of the churl are evil. He deviseth wicked devices to destroy the poor with lying words, even when the needy speaketh right. And you know, that's not only talking about the poor men of our nation, but he's going to destroy you women too at some point. Because you see, there's no gender that he's mentioning in the scripture, you know, in the verse. It says destroy the poor in general. And who's the poor? You know, mainly the nation of Israel, you know. And I mean, you do got some, you know, poor Edomites and other nations as well that are starting to, you know, feel the effect of the curses. Because of course, you know, in the scripture it mentions about how there's Egyptian against Egyptian, so some of them are feeling the, you know, the curses that our people have been going through for so many years. But for the most part, Esau destroys the poor with lying words. So he's gonna act like he's there with you, and scripture say what? You know, Sirach or Ecclesiastes chapter 12, who shall pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent? Exactly. And it mentions about how you should never trust thy enemy. Yeah, he gonna abide with you for a little, but he ain't gonna fully be there for you. And he gonna throw you in the pit and undermine you and act like he trying to help you. Yeah, this is Esau we're talking about. It's the devil and the liar, the man with the double tongue. And it says in verse 9, you know, of course, this is what every brother loves to bring out. Rise up, you women that are at ease. Hear my voice, ye careless daughters. Give ear unto my speech. Many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come. Tremble, ye women that are at ease. Be troubled, ye careless ones. Strip you, make you bare, and gird sackcloth upon your loins. They shall lament for the teats, for the pleasant fields, for the fruitful vine. Alright. So now you're gonna know what it's like to feel like how men felt when the system hasn't worked in their favor, you know. And now the system that made you so comfortable, so relaxed, now you're gonna see the you know, all the pressure that men has been going through for so long, and you're gonna start feeling the sting of it. And as much as we hate Esau, sometimes you gotta love him, because you know, he holds no loyalty, you know, even to those that he uses, you know, and those that like pretty much decide to be a lapdog to him, which is of course our woman, you know. And this is the result of trusting in your enemy. It doesn't get you far. It ultimately gets you all the way fucked up, because here it is, you had all these good times with him and shit like that, you know, and then now you would have thought maybe somewhere, somehow, that you having all this time with him, spending all these, you know, quality time with these Edomites and things of that nature, being friends with them, you know, them being in your picture galleries and your videos and all that shit of you spending time with them, and you would have thought something would have registered in their mind to be continuously loyal. But nope, that's where you're wrong. Because at the end of the day, the Most High, he's the Father of spirits, and he's the one that's controlling everything. And these are still Edomites we're talking about, so they're not going to hold no loyalty. And the funny thing is, Esau's even fucked up amongst his own, you know. You got the upper elites not giving a fuck about the lower level Edomites, you know. So what makes you stupid ass woman of our nation, what makes you think you're special to Esau? He don't give a fuck about y'all. And don't come running to us, you know, after you see that Esau is not working in your favor, because we sure as hell don't want to take no damn used up ass bitch that had done, you know, abused the system with all this, you know, feminism, and basically with all the child support benefits, alimony, and EBT, you know, SNAP and WIC, you know, so on and so forth. And even going as far as, like, you know, calling the police and shit for domestic violence, and try to see, you know, how they could further financially punish, you know, the man, because sometimes they might even just, you know, win the man's house over him, you know, due to certain domestic violence cases and things of that nature. So we sure as hell don't want to deal with any of you damn used up ass bitches in America that now the system ain't working for your favor, that you want to become all sincere. You know, you could see that men don't want to deal with your ass. That's the reason why they're passport bros. They're going overseas, dealing with women who don't carry a baggage, you know, because of course with people that carry a lot of baggages and things of that nature, they want to treat you like you're supposed to be their traumatic baggage claim area, or so. Like they want to act like you the airport and some shit, where they come with a whole bag of trauma and all types of you know, emotional outbreaks and shit like that, and there's a whole bunch of toxicity and negativity. They feel as though you have to sort through all that shit and pretty much have the patience to deal with that shit. Like, motherfucker, I ain't no TSA security at the airport, so you know, dealing with the, you know, baggage claim area and all that shit, hell no. You know, because any man that deals with that is not a real man. He's insecure, you know, trying to seek validation from her, when she's the one who's supposed to be seeking your validation, and she's supposed to be your peace, trying to serve you and trying to, you know, make you calm and, you know, relax and shit like that. So these bitches got it backwards. And that's why men want to deal with traditional women, you know, women that they can actually, you know, save money and spend quality time with without dealing with, you know, transactional love, which is not really love, you know, because it's like that love is just temporary, and that love is just completely vain. And just like what you call that rapper Lil Sky said in one of his songs, like, you know, titled Lust, you know, he mentioned, you know, the most important part of that song, he was saying it's a lot of lust, not a lot of love. And you find that a lot with, you know, mostly people in this time period, especially, you know, Gen Z and, you know, these upcoming generations as well that grew up on social media. You know, they're pretty much following after that same ideal. You know, if they deem you as maybe low income or so, like these stupid ass women, they will consider you to be unfortunate, and they consider you to be a bum, and all they really lusting for is what you have. And of course, you know, men, you know, they like what they see, so it's not really truly love. It's like they love her for whatever she got on her body and things of that nature, and they're loving her for her beauty, and she's loving him for his money and things of that nature, and for, you know, his status, you know. So you could forget about bonding with, you know, partners who tend to both have, you know, the same, you know, let's say clear level of thinking, like how it was back in the old days, where people held tradition and family values and wanted to you know, push for that nuclear family. You could forget about that. And that's why this place America is on its way to being destroyed. And before it gets destroyed, you know, of course, these women that had been benefiting so much, they gotta suffer. They're gonna suffer big time. So it has just begun. And it says in bring out this, probably maybe make it the last precept. It says in Sirach chapter 28 verse 13, it says, curse the whisperer and the double tongue, for such have destroyed many that are at peace. So, you know, as they say that Esau has, you know, double horns, like, you know, scriptures mention about how he's the lamb with the two horns, a Democrat and Republican, just like how, you know, back in ancient Rome it was the plebeians and patricians, you know, basically like it follows that same structure all over again, because not only that it follows Rome, but it also follows after Greece and all these other ancient kingdoms that promoted you know, wickedness, you know, that was a time, you know, before, you know, Esau of course started ruling again in the Renaissance and things of that nature. And you know, the double tongue that Esau got is, of course, you know, trying to act like he want to speak like a Democrat, and then he want to speak like a, you know, Republican, you know. You know what I mean? And then even then it's like, and of course when you go deep into politics, there's a dichotomy of, you know, between, you know, what the Republicans say and what the Democrats, you know, say, what they push for, you know, what their ideals are. But the funny thing is, like, a lot of times you got even to where presidents have even contradicted, you know, shit that they, you know, push for, just to show you that they're puppets and they are controlled by, you know, the elites, because this is oligarchical rule, you know, where the ones that's very few in power are the ones that's actually controlling, you know, politics, you know, because of course they would be considered as a shadow government, you know, those private banking family members like the Rothschilds and Rockefellers and so forth, you know. Of course they have it to where they do little things to lure you people to you know, to sleep and try to like get you people, try to gain some of your favor, so to kind of build some of your trust, but ultimately, you know, they're not to be trusted, so they're gonna hit you with something really unexpected. You know, they do the same shit. And you people will always still fall for the okie doke, because y'all are just so stupid and dumb. And you're so distracted by bread and circus. So, continuing on, it says, a backbiting tongue have disquieted many and driven them from from nation to nation. Strong cities have been pulled down and overthrown the houses of great men. Yup. And scriptures say about how the curse of the mother rooteth our foundation. So, the curse of the mother, of course, that backbiting tongue that Esau has, his double tongue, has pretty much caused, these women, just like how it caused Eve to be beguiled by the serpent. And eventually started, bringing in that feminism. And then these women started to even go as far as, kicking their man out the house because they want to be the ones to compete against their man and want to rule. So it has overthrown, a man's household, and his offspring is not in his favor anymore. It's in her favor. And verse 15 says, a backbiting tongue hath cast out virtuous women and deprived them of their labors. Yeah, that's what scriptures say in Proverbs 31. Who can find a virtuous woman? Her price is far above rubies. Because when it's coming to women in America, you don't know who could be virtuous. Some could act like they're virtuous and traditional just to show you how much of a demon they really are once they have a kid for you and things of that nature. At some point, Satan just might hop on her to want to get loose and want to be like the rest of these hoes, these 304s that live in America, to influence her to go to the club and have fun and all that shit, and to be this bad bitch. And you know what they say, once a good girl gone bad, she can never go back. And at this point, it's gonna have to take all hell breaking loose to get these women to go back. And that's gonna be, of course, the time of Jacob's trouble, getting him to go back to being righteous again. And of course, as the scriptures say, that how, at 1 Timothy the 5th chapter goes into how, like, what women should have done, but it said that how, they learn to be idle, going about from house to house, being busybodies, and how for some have turned aside of Satan. Yeah, that's going into how they're deprived of their labors, because they don't want to cook and clean, they don't want to be traditional, they don't want to be a pillar of rest to their men, to the man that they're, supposed to be with, because of course they're supposed to be with one man. So they want to be completely rebellious, they want to be insubordinate and contentious. So the only labor they have is pretty much serving Esau, which is, of course, proven how they are the servants of chaos, And verse 16 says, whoso hearkeneth unto it shall never find rest and never dwell quietly. Right, because the funny thing is, there's always, the beauty behind duality. Even though Esau is a devil, the Most High is going to show that he's a devil that can't be trusted. You know what I mean? He's not going to stay on one side and basically be for feminism, for women. He's going to eventually show you, stupid ass woman, why you should have never trusted him to begin with. Because shit, he's not even trusted amongst his own. He got it to where he's a house divided against himself. Because when you put into play on the social classes of Esau, you got the ones on top that don't give a fuck about the ones that's considered upper middle class, and of course, sure as hell they don't care about the lower class. And if they feel like that amongst their own, how much more they feel about you stupid ass women who are considered as Israelite women for the most part. Esau is willing to take out his own in the New World Order. He's willing to put some of his own in the concentration camps. What makes you stupid ass woman of our nation, you so-called Black, Hispanic, Native American woman, what makes you exonerated? What makes you any special? And like verse 16 says, whoso hearkeneth unto it shall never find rest and dwell quietly. Yeah, because this is going to be a extreme rude awakening call. Yep. And verse 17 says, the stroke of the whip maketh marks in the flesh, but the stroke of the tongue breaketh the bones. Many have fallen by the edge of the sword, but not so many as have fallen by the tongue. Well is he that is defended through the venom thereof, who have not drawn the yoke thereof, nor have been bound in our bands. For the yoke thereof is a yoke of iron, and the bands thereof are bands of brass. The death thereof is an evil death, the grave were better than it. It shall not have rule over them that fear Yahweh, neither shall they be burned with the flame thereof. Such as forsake the Lord shall fall into it, and it shall burn in them, and not be quenched. It shall be set upon them as a lion, and devour them as a leopard. That's the beauty of it all. Because, there's going to be a judgment for whoever hearkens to the wickedness of Esau. And the funny thing is, for listening to Esau, the Most High is going to use Esau against you. The same Edomite that you hearkening to, same one that you taking heed to and doing all the wicked shit for. It's just like how celebrities do the same shit. They work for them like about a decade or two, or maybe even 3. So many years, and look how they going down. You see P. Diddy, now you're gonna see Jay-Z going down. And this is all funny because when people were getting on a Pizzagate and all that shit, talking about Clinton and these other politicians that's taking part of it, and these other rich Edomites that's taking part of that shit, now look what they're doing. Now they decided to, take down these celebrities that have, been involved in some sort of, sex scandals and things of that nature, that felt like they were on the same level as the Rothschilds and Rockefellers doing their wickedness behind closed doors. Their little bohemian groves and child sacrifices and all that shit. Now they taking these celebrities down too, just so that you people could be fixated on that instead of being fixated on, rich Edomites, doing their wickedness. And Esau groomed those jakes in the Hollywood industry to do those wickedness too, and now he's using it against them. And the funny thing is, he used it as a way to make them, let's say, because that's a part of the sacrifice, that they have to do those wickedness, so that they have evidence against them for when they try to speak against them. And you woman trusting in Esau, doing all the wickedness that Esau wanted you to do, so that he give you benefits and all that shit, doing wickedness against a man. Now you're gonna pay the consequences for that. Just like how Israel in times past, paid the consequences for serving false idols, getting benefits from it. Yeah, but those benefits are only temporary. And you woman, now you're gonna receive those consequences, just like how Israelites in times past have received it for doing wicked sacrifices. So yeah, with that, I'd like to say, Kola Blah, Yahweh Bashim Al Shah, Bashim Kakadash, the bottom of the positive elsewhere, Melstone, peace, citation, hopeful, Shalom.